Benson, Miss Strickland, and Mr. Hulsman. And today we're going to be asking them a couple questions just so you can get to know the solo teachers a little bit better. Okay, the first question that I have for you guys is, what are some of your hobbies?
Well, I think most of my students know that my number one hobby is music.
Yeah.
Playing it, listening to it, organizing, writing, you name it. I'm doing it all with music.
Wait, can you sing, Mr. Benson?
Can I sing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I sing.
We have to hear some tunes from you soon. But how about you, Miss Strickland?
Well, this year it's been spa hopping, and
Oh, yeah.
like I went to 34 resorts in 6 months.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
I went to Marietta Hot Springs like 4 times already at the end of March. So
Mhm. You
I-
can't forget the mineral baths that you do.
that's the mineral
Yeah.
baths.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about you, Mr. Hulsman?
I'd have to say mostly just hanging out with family, whether it be just inviting over family for barbecues or just hanging out with my kids in the backyard or going somewhere or going to Knott's Berry Farm as we're all fans of. If it's something that's probably a little more out doing something, I guess I'd have to say golf. I kind of enjoy that because, you're getting away. Sometimes you can leave the cell phone behind and you can just spend 18 holes of just walking around and
Yeah.
just getting clear your head. So
Okay, that's a nice hobby to have. Let's see. What is your guys' favorite part about being a teacher?
Favorite part about being a teacher for me is when a student who's been struggling with something finally gets it.
Yeah.
Whether it's a concept that they weren't understanding, or if it was a sort of an activity on like how to do things in a certain order, and when they really enjoy it,
Yeah.
and they realize that they've learned something and they feel good about it.
Yeah. The progression is a really big thing in students. How about you, Ms. Strickland?
I also enjoy helping students and, attacking a problem and getting through it and having them help figure it out too.
Yeah.
And then also the interactions with them, like on a more personal level.
I know I've had
Yeah.
many personal interactions with Ms. Strickland. But how about you, Mr. Hulsman?
kind of like Mr. Benson said, I'd have to say it's helping the students when you're working with a student who maybe struggled with a specific concept in math, and it's like you help them and it could take time, but once that the light bulb goes off and it becomes clearer and
Yeah.
easier for them, that's always a great feeling. That's one of the things that got me started in teaching, was just being able to help kids that struggle with that. And another one would be just helping them with like a real world concept, like preparing them for something, like if it's about how to deal with credit, how to
Mhm.
deal with credit cards, and preparing them on when they're an adult, not to get trapped into, just some of those things that can make life a little more difficult, such as credit card debt and everything else. So anything we can go into life wiser
Yeah.
and prepared. I love doing that.
And that would go into my question. What do you think the educational system lacks within teaching kids about the real world?
Well, we seem to be focused. At least there have been many years where we seem to be focused on specifics
Mm-hmm.
that don't necessarily have a real world application. You kind of have to struggle to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think if we, like, instead of teaching history from way back when forward, we should teach it backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So that way we could talk about, well, why is this happening? Well, this happens this way because of what happened before that,
Yeah.
and what happened before that. So in a cause and effect, but more taking the effect and then the cause
Yeah.
in that order. Because otherwise, you're trying to teach students how to think. That's the whole reason that we go to school, is so that they can think. But sometimes processing information you need to have some kind of practice at, well, this is why a decision was made. Why would we need to make that decision?
Yeah.
So if we taught it backwards, I think it would be better.
That's an interesting way to look at it. How about you, Ms. Strickland?
Well, I've just been noticing a lot of animal reactions
Mm-hmm.
and how different they are pre-COVID and now,
Mm-hmm.
and how the animals seem more peaceful now.
Yeah.
Just in my walking around the beaches and going to Marietta Hot Springs and seeing the little Australian duck,
Yeah. How about you, Mr. Hulsman?
I'd have to say that I feel like as a teacher, through those conversations with students, that we can prepare them for the real world, such as what you talked about, credit cards, and we share our life experiences, what we learned over time, that maybe something that we didn't have when we were younger, but we learned, and we can pass that on so students can learn from our successes and our failures, mistakes that we've made. So I'd say that's really great, and using those as a stepping stone into the material that they have to learn, such as, in my case, mathematics, where they're preparing to either be college bound or life bound. They're going straight into the workforce and so forth. So it's whatever we can do to help them on that road to be prepared for whatever life throws at them, and they can accomplish what they set out to do.
Okay. Let's see. What is something you regret that you didn't do sooner in life?
Go back to school after I graduated high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a real life changer for you.
Yeah, yeah. If I'd gone back to school 5 years earlier and became a teacher 5 years earlier, I would be 5 years farther along right now. You know, you don't think about those things when you're in your 20s, but by the time you get into your 40s and your 50s, soon to be my 60s, you know, I think, man, if I had just gone to school 5 years earlier, I'd be able to be retiring now instead of 5 years from now.
How about you, Miss Strickland?
Well, my family thought I was being a professional student because I picked up a Spanish minor, and I had to start from ground zero. So it took me extra years to do that. And then when I finally got my credential in Spanish, I came to California, and I couldn't use it because they wanted me to take more classes. And I'm like, I took so many classes, I have more than Spanish to graduate. And I go, I'm making $16,000 a year, and you want me to go to school again?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, no, I'm not. You can have your Spanish credentials, so I let that go. So all those years I spent doing Spanish kind of went to waste, except for the knowledge of it.
Yeah. So you wish you would have known that sooner.
Yes,
Yeah.
and not wasted all that time.
Yeah. How about you, Mr. Hulsman?
After I had my kids, I kind of fell out of exercising. So personally, I wish I would have picked up getting back into, you know, just regular exercise, because I do feel like it helps in, you know, your mental health, helps out also physical health.
Yeah.
So I wish that I would have started back into that sooner, because now that I have been, I feel better. I mean, I feel clear minded and everything else. So I wish I didn't wait as long as I did to get back into, you know, just thinking about what I eat and exercising regularly.
Yeah. Thinking about your self-health and not just your kids.
Well, yeah, because when you just have kids, life becomes about, okay, let's like make sure everything's done, all homework's done, and all this, and whatever time is left, okay, let's try and fit in as much as we can into the day. Yeah. So yeah, exercise and that kind of stuff really kind of takes a back seat, and it doesn't always enter into that front burner. So
yeah, so take a break on your parents, because it could be hard sometimes. Another question. I just wanted to let you know that I got into the UC system, UCR, and UC Irvine.
Yeah,
I wanted
that's
to tell
exciting.
You guys that.
Wow, congratulations.
Very good.
Yeah.
you're gonna be a Highlander, maybe.
Yeah,
if you choose
or
UCR.
or an anteater. I just saw I saw their things and I was like, an anteater? Why would they choose
An
that?
anteater is anteater indigenous to Irvine?
I have no
I have
idea.
never heard that.
Well, when I saw that, I was trying to read it and I was like, what does that say? And I was like, anteater, and I was like, that's interesting.
I'm not sure Highlanders are native to Riverside either.
Yeah,
so
that's
Wait,
true.
what is a Highlander?
Like
a Highlander from the movie Highlander, which from the story I heard when I went there as a student, was that that was adopted after the Mel Gibson movie, and it kind of, you know, it was very, very popular, and they wanted to use that as their kind of mascot. I don't know how much truth is to that, but it's you know, it was really popular around that time frame. So
Yeah. Oh,
They
well.
just like wearing skirts.
that's a nice accent there.
Are you part Irish?
Irish? Scots. I'm no Irish lass.
Oh my god, Brave movie. You know how they speak like that in the Brave movie?
Talk like that in Brave.
Or what adjustments have you made when teaching students nowadays, especially now that there's AI?
Well, it's kind of interesting because the transition from working in the classroom to working into an independent study program takes a lot of adjustments itself, and you know, as AI starts to become more of an accepted and used science, I think it's going to start appearing in the independent study program curriculum a little bit more. So I don't know, I don't really see it that it's so much out as a teacher making the adjustment as it's those who are deciding how it's going to integrate into the curriculum. Yeah. But I mean, one adjustment that all teachers do is we always try to bring in things, whether it's technology or even just events and things to talk about to students that are a little bit more relevant to the days and times that we're teaching classes.
Okay. How about you, Ms. Strickland? What have you done personally to kind of adjust to these new things that have been appearing?
Well, I know that we have a lot of problems with people cheating just with the old ways, so AI is making it even more so. And I just don't know how we can always keep ahead of that. You know? It seems like we're always on the back trying to figure out how to deal with it.
Yeah. How about you?
I'd say anytime technology increases, I mean, it's always up to the student on still making sure they're learning those skills, such as when the calculator came around, then they didn't have to do so much checking by hand, but it's still a skill set they're going to want to learn, and then they can use the technology as a backup. I could say AI would be the exact same way. They want to create on their own, and then they can use these resources to check their work or to check their resources or sightings and so forth. So I think that it can be used to beneficial.
Yeah.
It can be used as beneficial, but it's really going to come down to the student's personal choice and responsibility, and that they're still creating the work themselves and then using that technology to help support that.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for your guys' lovely responses. This was our last question, and we are going to wrap it up.